Hello, hello. I am Pretty Bird,
And I am Sweetie.
and together we are Pretty Sweet. Welcome to Pretty Sweet Distractions, where we speak unfiltered about life, love, poetry, and prowess. So, if this is your first time, we hope that you sit back, relax, and enjoy the distractions in the form of open discussions on artful words. And this is where we warn you that we are grown up people talking about grown up things using all the grown up words. This is the only warning you're going to get. So, if you're easily offended, this may not be your bouncing tea bag, cup of tea, or whatever floats your boat. We like to have fun, poke fun, and generally have a great time. So if you're down to be distracted, come hang out, chat, call, like, follow, share, leave your opinions in our opinions, click all the hearts, and show us some love. We have live streams every Tuesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern, and you can find us live on Facebook, YouTube, and X/Twitter. Oh, tonight it is you did it to your damn self because sometimes that's just the way it is. At one point or another, we've all wondered how we got into a situation. I mean, it's easy to search for others to blame. I mean, it's not our fault this happened. It can't be. But, oh, sweetie, sometimes it's our own doing. And so we are going to talk about the times when it's our own damn fault, when it's your own damn fault, because sometimes we just do it to our damn selves. And it's funny because I think that the world is a 50-50 split of accountability and those with the audacity to blame others for their shit. And the thing is, without that accountability, by the time you learn that you did it to yourself, it's all the consequences of your actions, and sometimes you need the consequences to learn. This is for me, it's like when my second child decided to steal gum, and I took him right back to the store, and he was mortified. And I asked for the manager, and he was a big scary guy. And I was like, "Hi, thank you for coming to talk to me. My son, I think he was 4, has something he wants to tell you." And he held it in two hands like this. He's like, "I took this." It's like, and because and my and my mom did not know. I did not pay. And he looks at me and he whispers, "How hard you want me to go?" And I'm just all thumbs up all the way. And he's like, "Nice." Scared the shit out of my kid. And as far as I know, unless, because teenagers do stupid shit, but as far as I know, yeah, he never stole another thing. He would rather be grumpy and throw a fit than put something in his pocket, because oh no. And that guy found me later in the store, and he was just like, "I love parents like you." And I was like, "Thank you. Much appreciated." But if we don't teach our kids accountability, they're going to grow up to be assholes. I mean, they may be assholes for other reasons, but you know, here's the thing. If they are old enough to make the choice to do the thing, they are old enough to face the consequences of those actions. I don't care if they're 4, I don't care if they're 14, I don't care if they're 40. It is our job to teach them at different stages in life what those consequences look like. Like, I never understood, "Oh, I can't say no to a kid. They're innocent." Of course, they're innocent until they steal shit, then they're guilty. Treat them as such. I am just saying, but it's a lot easier when things are cut and dry than like that black and white. Stealing is wrong. It's illegal. It's against the law. If you steal things now, you may be fine. If you steal things when you're older or steal more expensive things, your ass is going to jail. So you teach them the steps. But when it comes to relationships and friendships and you screw over, you're the only person that ever cared about you as you were through all of your faults, and you treat them like shit, you ghost them, you steal from them, you lie about them, you lie to them, and you wonder why they don't want to be your friends anymore, and you find yourself alone because the only person who really knew you doesn't want anything to do with you. Well, that's your own damn fault. Don't be an asshole. And it's we don't always know when we're being that kind of selfish and self-centered, and we don't always realize that what we say is not landing the way we expect it because we're self-absorbed and myopic. I mean, we're humans. We look at the world first in our how it affects us, and then how it may or may not affect others. And some of us never get past the how it affects us. You know, those are your narcissists, your master manipulators, your the ones who gaslight you until you give up, feel crazy, and they get what they want anyway, even if that's just a smirk to know that now you're under their thumb. But because like I said, asshole. I just think that if any of us think back, if any adult thinks, oh, and listen, if you're listening to our show, I expect you to be 18 and over. I'm just saying. Um, if you think back across your life, we've all worked with people who um, are lazy, who get away with doing the bare minimum, who don't have any initiative, who don't stay late, who puts all the work on you because they do the bare minimum. And then they wonder why they don't get a bonus, or they wonder why their raise was, 10 cents an hour. They wonder why, somebody is, gets preferential treatment when it comes to asking for days off, because maybe they don't ever ask for days off and you want long weekends, once a month. And people are like, I don't understand what I did. These are the consequences of your actions. You do not get special treatment. You do not get the perks if you don't do the work. If you don't if you don't put it in, you're not going to get it out. You know what I mean? Now, friendships and relationships are tricky because there's a certain ebb and flow in any dynamic between people where feelings are involved, not so much with the coworkers, because you know, usually there's a job description that needs to be ticked off, and then there's office politics, and then there's other bullshit. But when it comes to the dynamics of interpersonal relationships, we all know people that don't think that a white lie is a lie. They think of it as kindness, and I will never understand that. And so everybody that's in my circle knows, no, do not lie to me. Just tell me. I don't care if, you know, I'll never know if you don't tell me. Tell me anyway, because then I can still trust you. But if I find out something different later, then I can't trust you, and it changes the dynamics of a friendship for something that really didn't have to happen. And then when in my case, I'm so starkly black and white, right or wrong, they're like, well, it's not that serious. Well, say it to my face, because it's just because you don't give a shit doesn't mean I don't give a shit. And then they're like, well, you're overreacting. I am not fucking overreacting. I am barely reacting. My reaction is I don't trust you, and I'm still your friend, but I don't count on me to go above and beyond for you until you make that back up, until I feel like I can trust you. Don't lie to me and then think that I'm going to trust you with anything about my life. Don't lie to me and then think that I can that I am going to lean on you in times of trouble. You're like, well, you don't tell me anything. And why would I do that? Okay, so somebody was very important to me. Um I was talking about the dynamics of, I don't tell everybody my business because the parameters of my relationships are between me and whoever my relationships are in, friendships, family, whatever relationship. But I was talking about boundaries, and they were like, well, that's a weird one. I don't understand that. Well, you don't have to understand. This is not your boundary. This is for this specific situation. Like, well, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would somebody agree to that? Excuse you? And I can have that conversation with them all day long. It's like, well, it doesn't pertain to you. You don't really get an opinion, but thanks. But they turned around and told their two best friends because they were confused and they wanted a second and third opinion. And I said, excuse me, you told them my personal business? I was like, you know that these people hate me, right? I was like, and even if they didn't, I trusted you. Yeah, but I trust them. No, that's not transferable. I am so sorry. Me trusting you does not mean I automatically trust your friends. They don't like me. And even if they did, I did not tell them. If I didn't tell them, you don't get to tell them. That it's not their business. Like, well, I don't understand why you're mad. Are you kidding me? So if you told me A, B, C, D, E, F, G about your child, and I went and told some random people about your child, well, that's not for them to know. Okay, so how's it different? Well, because I trust these people. Okay, but I don't, and you don't trust the people that I trust because you don't know them. They could not, for the life of them, reconcile that, and it changed the dynamic of how I disseminate personal information. And for a long time, it was very much nothing that I held near and dear, because the first time that happened, he went around and, asked his friends questions, and not hypotheticals, hey, if you were in this situation, where would the line be for you? It's, hey, let me tell you what she told me, and you tell me if it makes sense to you. Oh, no, 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 no. You couldn't even hide behind the, well, it was a hypothetical. I didn't give them your name. I mean, they didn't know. Oh no, they knew outright by name with all the details of shit that wasn't their business. And they're like, well, you can't be mad at that. Watch me. And they're like, you're very hard on people. No, you're kind of a douche. Not cool. So, Sweet Pea, what are your thoughts to, I mean, we've all been in a situation, maybe not that exact situation, but we've all been in situations where we almost want to laugh at these people, like, what did you think was going to happen? You know? And I'm like,
Really? Okay, yeah, you did that. You didn't expect this from me. Yeah, it's hard to imagine some of the things I've had friends in the past that have done to me, and you know my story well, which we won't discuss on the air, but I've had some really crazy friends, and it amazes me that in some situations they feel they can push and push and push, and you're never going to break. And then when you break, they look at you like, what did I have to do with it? I don't understand. It was like, well, you were fine, or you should have done this, or you should have done this, or you should have done that. Well, what the hell was I supposed to do? You should have, and I know you hate the word should. So that's, it, maybe I could have done something, or maybe I couldn't have done something. But, for me, it's just kind of what you say. It's like, okay, if you did this, you did this. I don't care what it is. Just tell me and accept the consequences of my emotions. And that's hard for some people because I can be very emotional. I can be a very teary person because I'm hurt, or I can be a freaking crazy ass, mad, redheaded Irish girl. So, you never know what you're going to get. But if you should know me enough, if I let you in, that you're going to get something. You've been around me, you've watched us do things. But I also kind of took this, you did it to your own damn self, looking inside myself. Like, what have I done, to make people feel bad, or broke hearts, or lost my friends? And I think that sometimes it's accidental, and sometimes it's on purpose. But there's always something either lacking in the communication, or lacking in the art of friendship. Maybe there was expectations that you had they didn't have, or vice versa, because you never know. Sometimes the simplest sentence or word can just break somebody, and that's sometimes when I go, cock my head like a little dog and go, huh, why? And then I have to think, well, what did I do? What did I say? How did I say it? And go out there and accept my consequences, my apologies, and do what I need to do. Because it's just crazy sometimes how often I hear, more than ever, is, well, I didn't do it, or it's really you're overreacting, and that's one I cannot stand. Or my favorite is, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm sorry, what was that? uh, yeah, I'm sorry you feel that way. Is that you apologizing, taking responsibility, or is that you just blowing me off, telling me, well, you feel that way? What the hell do I care? That's probably the worst thing anybody can say to me if we're in an argument or something's going on or there's complication between us. If somebody just goes, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, as if there's not a problem or anything like that going on. So I definitely have, a lot of thought on your
That.
your day. Really?
I mean, when it comes to I'm sorry you feel that way, I mean, I do mind it, but I would take that over the, oh, well, I just can't do anything right. Oh, well, I just can't win anyway. And because at least the I'm sorry you feel that way gives you a voice instead of everything is about them and now they're the victim.
I would agree with that too. I just, for some strange reason, that just, for me, if I'm looking for an apology or something, it's just like, I'm not going to take responsibility. Those are your feelings, not what I've done to you. And I don't know, that's just like I said, the way my brain works. But yeah, I would take that any day over the constant criticism. Like, why you can't do that? Or you can't do this? What? You don't know how to wash a dish or you don't know how to do this? I mean,
It's like, no, I can't. Feel free to do it right yourself. And I go to watch TV. Fuck you.
I will tell you one of the things that my father, God rest his, soul, when I was very little, he would, if you were doing the dishes and he found anything that was wrong with dishes, he would take all the dishes out of the cupboard, make you rewash them.
Yeah, that's what happens to my kids. Not for
So
me.
it's just like, well, what, I can't, no, you've got to learn that if you're going to do a chore or a project or something at work, if you make a mistake, you've got to redo everything. So, I mean, I guess that was really instilled in me when I was much younger is, you have to really try not to make mistakes. I wish I was that put together now as I was then, but life happens and that's not going to happen anymore. Well, we're trying, just finding different ways to do it. But yeah, I think that, we do a lot to our own damn selves and people do a lot of stuff to us. And, the problem with this perception is that you see it through your eyes and I see it through mine. And if you can't communicate and work through it, well, then that's your problem, not mine.
I think that the biggest problem with you did it to your damn self is that people always want sympathy without accountability. Oh, I can't believe this happened to me. Oh, sweetie, how do you not see that coming? Like I can't believe I did that. We'll go back to work because it's easy. I can't believe I got fired. You came into work late, like an hour late, like 3 times a week for like 2 months, and they warned you. How did you think that they weren't serious? Or I don't know why he broke up with me. Maybe because you're texting somebody else at 1 o'clock in the morning right in front of his face. How did you not see this coming? It's like I don't understand when they don't take accountability. Um, so it's kind of weird. Now I will say that some of my kids that choose to half-ass their dishes have gotten that treatment, and not every single time. But it's not about don't make mistakes. It's about just do it right the first time. You don't be lazy about it. It takes the same amount of time to do it right as it does to do it wrong when it comes to dishes. Make sure you're using the actual soap. Make sure that the dishes are not greasy and don't have food on them. It's not that difficult. And if you're going through the motions of doing the stuff, just do it right the first time. And people don't but I did it. No. And oh, okay. So I live in the sticks and I live in Florida. So little tiny sinkholes happen all over the fucking place. And I wouldn't call them sinkholes, but they're kind of sinkholes because they're like the potholes, but they're like really, really deep and have very hard edges. It's not like these worn little divots and whatever. It's like all of a sudden it rains, boom, the bottom falls out. And so there's a lot of them. So they just get filled in patches. And I was driving my kid home the other day and he starts laughing. He's like, what? It's like, this reminds me of when Lightning McQueen from Cars first does a quick fix on the road in Radiator Springs where it's all bumpy and blah, 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 because exactly what that feels like. And it takes longer to undo it and redo it than it does to do it right the first time. And people are like, I can't believe they're going to make me do this again. Well, whose fault is that? You know, if my kid once turned in a paper before they were allowed to be typed, not from age, but some of my kids' teachers actually made them handwrite their stuff before they let them turn in anything typed to make sure they could actually write and not have the computer do all the things. And my kid turned in the sloppiest piece of crap. Like, there weren't even any word spaces. And he's like, I didn't even get a grade. I was like, are they letting you redo it? Yeah, but I turned it in on time, and now they're going to count it as late. Whose fault is that? It's like, yeah, but I was like, do you see this? How could you take any pride in turning this in? You can't even read it yourself, you know? But they're like, well, I can't believe she's not even going to grade it. I would not read that shit. That's giving me a migraine from here. Do it again. If you would have shown it to me, I'd have told you that wasn't going to fly. Just people have no idea. Like, they just don't understand that the world comes at them with zero regard for your feelings. It happens how it happens. So, Raconteur, what comes to mind when you think you did it to your damn self?
I think ultimately it's an extension of choices that we make. The one direction my mind goes is the idea of happiness is a choice. Um, it's a convoluted way of thinking sometimes, but sometimes it's like your situation, you know the people you're involved with. It's like if you know someone's a gossip and you said something to them, well, like you say, you did it to your damn self because you made the mistake of telling them in the first place. And if you choose to allow them in your circle and be your friend, then you know that's what you have to expect. That's what's going to happen. What do you think was going to happen? So I mean, there's no big surprises there, but there are because when people are caring about each other, they don't expect the consequences. They don't expect the I didn't mean for that to happen, and that's when it gets really hairy because that then everything goes off the rails. It's like, well, you didn't mean it, but that happened. And what you think was going to happen? People did consequences. Ramifications, ripples, however you want to put it. So again, it's a weird thing in my brain, in that sense, because we try and control our environments. We try and have certain outcomes and whatnot, and ultimately, where we wind up is what we did for ourselves. So once we realize that and take responsibility, like you say, then maybe our outlook will change, but that doesn't mean the situation is going to change. Again, people walk around butthurt. So
Well, it's about acceptance and
it's just
accountability.
Yeah.
You had said two things. One, about, well, I didn't mean for that to happen. Yeah, you didn't mean to get caught. You didn't mean for what? Bullshit. But again, the road to hell, we all know where that comes from. Freaking assholes. I tell you what, don't do what's best for me. Don't. I don't care about your fucking intentions. It's just unfortunateness. And then you said, happiness is a choice. I call bullshit. I full on call bullshit, because sometimes you cannot be happy in a situation. It doesn't matter what you want to be, you cannot be. And I'm not talking clinical depression or anything like that, but there are situations that have no room for happiness. And no matter what we try to choose, what we can choose is how we react to things. We can choose to take a beat before we rip into people because we're feeling like crap, or we can choose to try to let things float away so that it doesn't weigh on anybody. If it's not that big a deal, we can choose to be kinder and gentler, and we can choose to not see the worst of people. I am not that girl. I am not. Once your trust is on shaky ground, I will see the worst in you until you prove me otherwise, because I will give everybody the benefit of the doubt to start with. And if I care about you, you get a lot more benefit than doubt just throughout until I have no more benefit to give. But I will trust that there is a baseline of consideration, for at least, for strangers and for whatever. So if you can't, listen, the bar is set in hell, people. If you can't meet that basic requirement of trust, yeah, I am going to worst case scenario the outcome of any decision around you. And it's because better safe than sorry. And there's no joy in that. There's no not joy in that. It's just, coping mechanisms, unfortunate histories, and, save yourself. But because we got to do what we got to do. And if people, this is where I think it gets hairy when it comes to we got to do what we got to do. Most of us do not go out of our way to hurt others. Sometimes people get hurt, life happens, but most of us don't go out of our way to do things that we know are going to cause somebody else pain. But if we need to protect ourselves for whatever reason, it's also hard to try to balance that self-preservation with other people's feelings. Because by the time you get to the point where you feel like you need to make yourself small and protect yourself because the people around you are assholes, their feelings can't be above your safety. And we still, especially if we care about them, we'll sit there, we'll make excuses and excuses and excuses because we don't want it to be that way. But we still protect ourselves in a smaller and smaller and smaller concentration of hope in the middle of our chest. There's this little tight little ball of, self-preservation. And it's hard when we're in fight or flight, when there's no flight to be had and all the fight is lied out of you. It's a lot. And when we get to that point and the people are like, I don't understand what I did, I don't understand why you're like that, I don't know, how do I make it? But you can't fucking make it better. You did all the things. You did all the things repeatedly. I gave you 10,000 chances. You can kiss my ass. Goodbye. And then they're like, but you're so mean. And the thing is that the story that they tell everybody else is they just walked away. They were mean. They were neglectful. They were this. They were that. They did all the things. And people believe them because charisma does that. And, sometimes we're made out to be the bad guy. I don't give a shit at this point. I'm old enough to be like, if that's who you think I am, even though you know me, you can go and hang out with the ass. You will learn. And when you come back realizing that you were wrong, I will be telling you to your face, you did it to your damn self, and slam the door, because I don't have that kind of patience. I don't have a lot of room, because by the time I get to that point, it's already past the second chance. It's already past the third, fourth, fifth chance. If I care about you, I give you all the chances. And what done is done. I mean, there's a situation that took years of patience, years of pain, years of hoping the outcome would be different, knowing that it wouldn't be. And I took it, and I would take it again, because I couldn't be the bad guy. I couldn't do that. I couldn't walk into a story that was pre-written for me, because I'm also the asshole that sometimes has to always be right. And it just because you see it coming doesn't make it easier to walk away and cut your losses, because sometimes the lesson is that if they walk, they have no other recourse. They are on their own, and they have no other thing than to see, well, they were there through all of it. You were there through all of the stuff, through all the things, through everything I put you through. And then they left on their own, and, well, you did it to your damn self. And it happens. It's not an easy road. I do not recommend it. Sucks. I'm much more, well, yeah, I'm done. Goodbye. But sometimes it's deep enough that you take the pain. You take the pain because they need the lesson. You take the pain because, well, you've taken the pain for this long. What's a little bit longer? You take the pain because at the end of that road, the pain transfers back on them. And does it always happen that way? No, but sometimes you see it coming, and it still sucks because I don't. If I my whole thing is, if I see the path that's going to lead to somebody hurting, I like to warn them. I like to try to thwart other people's pain and not cause other people's pain. But you get to a point where it's like, well, you're going to keep on this track by yourself. You're gonna get what's coming to you. Is what it is, because you can't save people from themselves. You can't throw yourself in front of their insane emotional train in hopes that it's going to derail their trajectory. They're just going to run over you and cut you to pieces every single fucking time. And what can you do? Anyway,
Walk away.
if there is, I think that every situation needs some kind of balance that we can live with. And by balance, I do not mean a 50-50 balance. I mean something that we can live with between our choices, their actions, their choices, what we can take versus, how much self-respect we have. Even if we have none, if we want something, we want to feel better than we do, we have to weigh it differently, because some of us, me included, I am not at the top of my I love you list. And I think that if we are at the tippy top of our I love you list, it tends to make everybody else smaller, and it tends to breed narcissism. But I think that top of the I love you list doesn't have to be one person. I think it can be a lot of us. I think it could be me, my partner, my kids, where situationally things take precedence by what's more dire, but everything is equal. And I'm not. I put myself very firmly below my kids, below the people that I love, because I care more about their well-being than my own, which is not healthy. I'm telling you this, I do not recommend. So it's easy to want to soften things for the people we love, to make things easier for them, to give them all the chances, to do whatever it is, because we want what's best for them. And so we have to balance that with what's best for us, because it's not going to do us any good to walk out of who we know we are, who we have always been, change 180 degrees to somebody we would hate if we met them on the street, just so that we can heal, because that's not healing. That's not strength. That's not who we are. Then we have to live with the consequences of the things we did when we were in that mindset, as a shield to the pain, because it makes us cold, it makes us cutthroat. And maybe for the situation that we're in, if you're being abused, if you're this and you're that, you need to kind of be very different than who you were to get out of that situation. But that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about are the ones that were sweet and thoughtful and nurturing, and now they're a raging bitch because they've been made to feel small for so long that you can't say anything that like in any kind of opposing ideas. You can't debate anything or have a normal conversation without saying, I don't want to listen to you, yada yada yada, blah 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 blah, and they turn around and they call you an asshole and leave, because everything, they will never feel small again. I was like, all right, so now you're going to make everybody else feel small and you're going to be a bitch. When they settle into who they are after they heal, they're going to hate themselves for all the people they stomped on and they cut down, because they know what that feels like. That is not a balance to me. That is an extreme. You have to, steel yourself against the things that you need to do to get out of whatever situation it is, without losing sight of the parts of yourself that you actually like. Because I don't know if y'all know me, but I tend to not take shit And I tend to also give everything that I have and everything that I am to the people I care about. You can be nice and be a bitch. You don't have to be the one thing. You don't have to be cutthroat. And I am not one of those, well, brutal honesty. Honesty does not ever have to be fucking brutal. You know, it's only brutal because nobody likes to see their reflection. So, you know, if you're, and that's another thing with this, you did it to your damn self. I know these girls, or I knew these girls when I was younger, that are like, oh, do you like this outfit? And aren't I pretty? And don't I look? They want everybody. They want all of the guys, their boyfriends or husbands, their boyfriends' friends, their brothers, their uncles, all the men, to tell them that they're pretty, to tell them that they look great, to tell them all this stuff. Sweetie, that would not work in my family because everybody's gonna be like, you don't ask me if you got a fat ass when you know you have a fat ass. You know.
Everybody can see it.
All right. I was like, what are you trying to hide? I was like, you know, my father will turn around and walk away but before somebody asks him a question. But it's funny because I think that in a family that kind of where love is kind of insults, that you don't ask those questions. You don't need that all the time. Now, having said that, you learn over the decades, you learn that if you are feeling pretty and you're feeling confident and you think that your makeup looks good, your outfit looks good, you feel strong, don't ask anybody what you look like, because anything other than you're a rock star will make you feel like shit when you felt great. Don't ask anybody. Their opinion doesn't matter. You do not get dressed. You do not look in the mirror and feel pretty for somebody else. You feel pretty because you feel pretty. You feel confident because you feel confident. And if you're going to ask somebody about what you're wearing or how you look or if they like whatever, knowing that all that that's going to do is be less than how you're feeling in that moment, don't ask the question. It doesn't matter. They're not important. You know what? You want to know what matters? When you're walking down the street and random strangers are, especially if you're a girl and it's a girl, like, oh my God, that dress is so cute. Boom, validation, you know, and it's not anything you had to ask for, you know. Now, I say that because it's a very common and unfortunate thing where 2 seconds you're walking out the door or somebody says something about what you're wearing or what you're going to leave like that, or that did you brush your hair or whatever it is, stupid things my father used to say to me, and then you feel like crap. You know, I think some of the best compliments I ever got was I was going okay, so my second son was 9 years old. And I got dressed. We were going out to dinner, me and his father, me and his dad. and I got dressed. I was wearing a dress. I was wearing heels, bright red lips. I mean, I looked like I looked. I mean, good, bad, I don't give a shit. But I walked out of my room and the kid was playing. He turned around. He walked up to my face. He looked at me and he's like, well, where do you think you're going? I'm going out to eat. He's like, huh. Whatever I had on red lipstick, he felt some kind of way. But it was always because I look nice, you know, like I don't need to look that nice and leave the house. I mean, he's not that kind of an asshole, and he loved when his girlfriends are all, you know, dolled up and whatever, and very, very, very proud and all the stuff. But he really kind of liked them also full on sweatpants and no makeup. Like he's very much, are you comfortable? We're good. Let's go. You know? So kind of love that about him. But yeah, and these are the things that we say to ourselves though, when we're like, you know, if they don't notice our dress, does that make them inattentive and a bad person? Just because we notice everything that they own. No, guys don't notice shit, you know? They really don't. And we set ourselves up for that kind of disappointment. We set ourselves up for kind of being overlooked and stuff because we ask because we would like the validation, we would like them to notice. But the truth is, if we have to ask, there is no answer that is going to be good enough. And we do that to ourselves all the time. So if you don't see their face when you walk out of the room, they're like, oh, because that's a good enough answer. If you have to ask them to notice, having to ask is what hurts. There's nothing that they can say at that point that is going to make you feel better, because anything nice you have to prompt, therefore it's already invalid, and anything less than stellar, you're going to feel like shit. So why do we still do it to ourselves? We're gluttons. We're all gluttons. Sometimes we just want to feel pretty, for Pete's sake. And anybody in any kind of relationship, if you do not make your partner feel wanted and attractive, if they have to ask you, do better, for fuck's sake. You're all grown up. You know what it feels like to feel like shit. If you allow your partner to feel like they are hideous or fat or unattractive or unintelligent, you are the asshole 100% of the time. Because it is, if we want people to nurture us and to build us up and to be a safe place for us, we have to be a safe place for them. We have to be a place where they do not doubt how, that they are wanted or that they are loved. And it's funny, and I've said this before, and I will say it till the day that I die. Before we had kids, I said very clearly, it's like, I don't care how mad we are. I don't care if they accidentally shot somebody. I don't care what the worst case scenario of all the things that will upset you. Don't ever let them doubt that you love them, especially when they're mad, or when you're mad, because little kids do not understand the subtleties, the subtleties and the nuance of emotion. Mad means you hate them. If you're not acting like you love them. If you are sad and not paying attention to them, they are not important. Therefore, you don't love them. Everything translates to, I feel safe and loved, or I am unloved and unsafe. And so I was like, I will not raise children in a house where they ever doubt that they are loved. And anybody's ever been on the phone with me, because my kids have zero phone etiquette. They will just sit there and have conversations. And I'm just like, you are just pissing the crap out of me. And I'm like, get the heck out of here. I love you, because to this day, I was like, you have the conversations. I absolutely love you. I will always love you. What you did is unkind. You can have the, I'm disappointed. You can have the whatever, but I didn't have the heart, and I had to make sure before I had kids that this was something that I would not waver on. This was the hill I chose to die on, that we would not ever let them doubt that either one of us loved them ever. And so, their dad sometimes gets quiet. He'll get mad and then he'll get quiet and just not be bothered with them. And I'm just like, you need to tell them before you shut down to process your shit. You need to tell them, I love you, but I can't talk to you right now. I need some time to cool down. And he's like, yeah, but no, there is no but. Just this is how you're going to do it, because they will not doubt that you love them.
What am I sitting on?
I'm telling you, because and I was so adamant about it and he thought for the first few years he thought that I was weird. Like, he just couldn't understand, because he didn't grow up that way. I mean, he grew up in a house where his mom would lock him out of the house like 8:00 in the morning, throw a glass of Kool-Aid and a peanut butter jelly sandwich on the table on the porch, if he was there or not. And in Florida, there are bugs, so that's not good. And then let him back in when the street lights came on. I'm like, if he had to pee, I mean, he was a boy, go behind the shed. And I was just like, geez Louise, that's freaking awful. So he just was feral. He just was not guided in ways of emotion. He was a lot of work, but he had good bones. It's fine. And so when he saw that I was not wavering on this, I think it kind of made him realize that, oh, maybe how I grew up was not the best way I grew up, Now, don't get me wrong. His father was a peach. I absolutely loved him. But his father worked all day, and so when his mom was there, it was a different scenario, and I think that it surprised him. And we grow. So do my kids still get themselves in trouble? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh, welcome to the consequences of your actions. I mean, all of the things that my son bought a complete beater of a car. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to put like $1,000 and however many hours of work into it. And he's like, I am in deep. That's a piece of shit. I'm over it. I was like, what did you think was going to happen? You literally bought a car that does not run. I was like, it was not an easy project, and you're not a mechanic. It's going to take you some time to learn. Like, you're right.
He's a mechanic now.
Seriously. Excuse me. But yeah, so all of that. So let's see what is on the docket for poetry today. Because, we actually do that around here. That's all I'm saying. I mean, sometimes I just talk out of my ass for like 16 years. I mean, it happens. Oh, we're going to start with Bud. Bud, you are on the board. We have a whole song. I do so love to be serenaded. I'm just saying, I do. So I'm loving that we've had like a song a show now for a couple of weeks, and I'm all just here for it because it's fabulous. So I'm going to post all of this. You should see the links wherever you're watching us live, and then on the board at All Poetry. So,
Bud Disney.
Okay, my computer, there it is. I had to refresh because it looked like I didn't post anything, but I did because look at me knowing stuff. All right, here we go.
She was my world, promised she would set me free. Words of choice, she said to me, a dark and haunting melody. I'm sweet as sugar, hot as ice. Hurt me once, I'll kill you twice. Think I'm joking, my dear friend. Try me out and then think again. 'Cause I'm already moving on place without a home. I'm a loaded gun. Treat me like you do and then truth and lies, it's all pretend. Give me all and give it free, otherwise on bended knee. I'm sweet as sugar, hot as ice. Hurt me once, I'll kill you twice. Think I'm joking, my dear friend. Try me out and then think again. 'Cause I'm already gone to a place without a sun. I'm a loaded gun. I'm a loaded gun. Look what I've done to you. Met a girl, she was my world. Promised she would set me free. Now she's gone in a flash of dawn. A jagged cliff I rest upon.
Like I said, I do so love to be serenaded. Okay, so Bud. Now, I know you fairly well, and you are absolutely the sweetest and kindest person. So I am loving all the backbone in this. I'm sweet as sugar, hard as ice. Hurt me once and I'll kill you twice. Think I'm joking, my dear friend? Try me out and then think again. That is a giant fuck me, fuck you. And I kind of love it because people like to take advantage of kindness. They like to see what they can get away with. If you don't actually complain, they think they can get away with doing it over and over and over and over. And what they ask for once is now an expectation. And if you change your mind or actually say no, then you're doing them a disservice instead of them using you like a bitch. And so I love this. Oh, go ahead. Try me. I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. No, I'm going to leave. You're going to cry. I'm over it. So, you stop with the lies. Give me your heart and I will hold it forever. But half-ass your shit and you're going to be here by yourself. And I absolutely love that because, it's fabulous. Now I know it says that the girl was, that she said, "I'm sweet as sugar, hard as ice." But I would like it to I read this like it's a transition. Like there she is, and she did this shit, and you learned your lesson, and now over here you're like, I learned from the best, and I'm not putting up with this crap anymore because it's very hard to be that kind and that open all the time, especially when you put up with a lot. And so when you get chewed up and spat out, it's a little easier to give somebody the rules and be like, listen, I am as patient as they come, but these are my boundaries. And if they shit all over your boundaries, well, fuck you, because why stay in a place where you're not respected? And so I see it as, you did it to myself and you did it to yourself, and both sides of this transition, I absolutely appreciate every way this looks. Treat me like you do, and then truth and lies, it's all pretend. Give me all and give it free otherwise. Excuse me, I'm bending knee. My throat is kicking my ass again because I don't heal, apparently. It's been like a month and a half. But I love this, and I do love that you give us our little, serenade, because it makes me happy. It really does. So Loverly, Sweet Pea, your thoughts?
Well, first off, I also love the hard as ice, hurt me once, I'll kill you twice. I really enjoy that line. And I love the song and the melodic tone that you have, because I find that beautiful. But, songs that you write really have to have hard lyrics that are memorable. And I think that this is a song that's very memorable, because I think everybody has been in this kind of world once or twice in their life. And it's like, why the lies? Why the crap? What did I do? Because I'm already gone to place without a son. I'm a loaded gun. Yeah, why are you bothering me? I mean, you've done it. We've done it. You promised me the world. And, now she's gone in a flash of dawn, a jagged cliff I rest upon. It's got so much depth and feeling and kind of a sense of realism in people's lives. It's just full of that emotional tone of when you're lied to and when you're caught in a place that you never should have been because of what you've given out and what you've done and how you've done it and everything that you've put into a relationship, only for someone to turn around and kind of be an ass about it. So I really think this song is relatable and very memorable. Great tune. Raconteur, your thoughts?
Call you Bud Jovi. I mean, I really enjoyed the word choices and the idea of this. What was I gonna say? You talk about being a loaded gun. Not many people are the same caliber as you, so it's hard to deal with some of the things that come your way, and it tells your mettle and who you are, how you react to certain things. There's things that I feel that we choose to live with, and people kind of take it for granted that's what's expected, but it's more of a courtesy sometimes that you give someone because of how you feel with them and the situation, or just your particular relationship with them. So when things come out, it's like being the materialization being backed into a corner. It's like, well, that's what you get. just because I put up with it for a little while doesn't mean that I'm gonna keep taking it. We can only take so much. What's that expression about? You bend, don't break. Well, there's a breaking point, and sometimes people reach that, and that's what this is all about to me. It's like you were looking for my breaking point. Well, bitch, you found it, and yeah, now you got it. So I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. It was a great write. I'm sure.
Absolutely. So I am up.
Oh.
This is. I coughed it up and never asked you to read it. You did that on your own. By me. And it goes like this. It fell off my tongue or out of my eyes and landed on your skin so hard it jolted you awake. It stung you as you tried to wipe off the words. It burned you as you scraped it hard, breaking your skin. Ever the opportunist, it silently seeped into your veins, staining your vision with my pain, reflecting your pain. The pain that you buried long ago, hidden from the world, from yourself, exposed and naked in my acid-rain tears. You felt clean neath the shower of niceties you sought, lathering up in birds and trees and nature haiku until you could pretend it didn't happen, that no one saw. But as you processed your day, you felt it. It was crawling beneath your skin, pumping through your ideals. For when the truth burns a soul, it changes a person. My truth changes a person. My words spew like bile across the universe, open and raw, jagged and too familiar to ever be comfortable. I see your pain as I see your love, for it is mine. It is uncomfortable in its starkness and undeniable in its reach, because it fell off my tongue or out of my eyes and landed on your skin so hard it jolted you awake. End poem.
Wow. This is incredible. You have so many raw emotions running through here, and your verbiage on it, just you can feel it cut you like a knife. Things like you felt clean neath the shower of niceties, yet you sought lathering up in birds and trees of a nature haiku until you could pretend it didn't happen. Because I know so many people that want to just kind of brush it off, or, well, it really wasn't that bad. It could have been that horrible. And I think that it stung as you tried to wipe off the words. It burned as you scraped it hard, breaking your skin. I just, the way you describe everything that's falling apart, and then just as you bookended this, it fell off my tongue or out of my eyes and landed on your skin so hard it jolted you awake. And sometimes that's really what a person may need before they understand, or it's what you've been trying to tell them. And I love the phrase toxic tears, because that's kind of what if they don't know that you've given them enough knowledge, already know that that's just the person that they are. It's got everything to do with them and nothing to do with you. But yeah, I really love the language in here because it's just raw and gritty and so truthful. So, Rack, your thoughts?
Oh, I love that the idea of that. Um, it fell out of your, or it fell off your tongue or out of. So, when they see what they did to you is when they finally realize the effect of what they had, and part of that's encompassed in that, because it's you in a lot of ways. The way that you are your relationship with the truth. People find that they can't argue with you. It's like arguing with the truth. So um because it matters to you, because you see how you see it, um it affects them in a certain way. So yeah, this is really, really impactful. And the raw emotion of it is, it's just it's a whirlwind. It really is. um and I remember, what you were looking for. I'm glad you found this one for tonight. This is really nice. It really makes you think.
Thank you. It's funny. It takes me to that story where the hosts that did not think fondly of me were, whatever. We're like, yeah, she kind of just, eviscerates you emotionally and just kind of leaves you on the table. And like it's an ugly
They
thing.
thought
But
that
here's
was
the
an
thing.
insult.
Yeah. But people are like, she does, and it's amazing because poetry is supposed to be beautiful. I mean, technically speaking, or historically speaking, it tends to be softer words and not so in your face, and no less true necessarily, but not always so jagged. And there's a place for a truth that is uncomfortable, but people will happen upon things that are unexpectedly familiar, and then they can't get it out of their head, and next thing you know, it ruins their whole day because now they overthink this and takes you into whatever it is that it reminded you of, and then you're like, I can't read you. Well, then don't fucking read me, at least not at work. Read me at your own risk. Because people tend to not be open stark emotions. Nobody really wants to see that. It's a mess. It's everybody's ugly, and people don't want to see ugly, except for that you don't know that you need somebody else to be ugly with you, you know? So sometimes I surprise people. I am just saying. So, Rack and Tour, we have you on the board, and it has an audio. So I am going to play you right now. Of course, when I say right now, I mean whenever this thing decides to play, because it slows all get out. So here we go.
Right now.
This is very true.
I guess, by Raconteur. So, I crushed your dreams and tore out your heart, pulled back the curtain, revealed what you suspected from the start. People see what they want to see. I'm just an illusion, merely a wannabe. All I've done, a lie or a joke. No emotion or truth in anything I spoke. You talk of winning as if it were a game, watching as I drown in tears used to douse the flame. You say you want to be alone, betrayed by all you've been shown. I guess it's my chance to do something right, grant your wish, and stay out of your sight. I guess I'm the fool for thinking I could ease your strife. Delusions of adequacy, condemned to the shadows of your life. End poem.
Delusions of adequacy. I will forever love that line because it's usually the delusions of grandeur, but delusions of adequacy. Like, well, I thought I was enough. My bad. But here's the thing: you read that very gently, and I don't. I read it very snarky. Oh, so I crushed your dreams and tore your heart out? Like, well, all right then. Well, if I can't do anything right and you say you want to be left alone here, how's this for doing something right? And because defense mechanisms and reactionary emotions are not often pretty. And when people push our buttons to get a response, sometimes we can't help but give in. I mean, do we want to give in? No. Do we give in? No, sometimes. So if you're sitting there trying to have a conversation after trying to do all the right things, after, saying the words and feeling the feelings and showing the emotions and doing all the stuff, they're like, oh, you're full of crap. All you do is make fun of this, make fun of that. And you can't take anything you say seriously. And, you're going to do what you want anyway. And yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But and it comes back to that. Oh, so all the things I did to make you feel loved and wanted and important, you think I'm full of shit. All right, then. And then they're like, well, if these are the same kind of people that'll come back at some point and be like, well, I never thought you'd leave. Well, why the fuck not? You told me to go. I don't want to see you. I want to be left alone. All right, then. Well, wait, where did you go? Yeah, really? It's like those people that want to be chased. I am not one of those people. Okay, that's not true. Okay, so I don't. Okay, so
CHASTE.
Oh yeah, no, that's a hell no for me. But I don't.
Chased.
If I am pissy and hurt, and I walk away, at some point, I would like a text, a call. Maybe go into the room and be like, "Hey, are you okay? I know you're upset. Can I get you anything? Like, do you need tea? Something. Acknowledge that I'm upset. You don't have to fix anything. You don't have to talk to me. Just acknowledge that I'm upset and I'm good. I appreciate that. If I walk away and you follow me into the room, close the door and be like, no, you need to talk to me right now. Oh, really? Are you sure that's what you want? Because I'll give it to you. I mean, you might want to let me just sit with it for a hot minute. Otherwise, that hole in your face, that hole in your ass are going to meet each other real quick, because I need a hot minute to feel my feelings, because nobody wants those, whipped at them raw. I promise you, nobody wants that. And that's something that you learned the hard way. Now, hubby never chased. In fact, funny story, because apparently I have stories. Big guy. So we got into an argument, and he kind of was putting something in the pantry and yanked the door. And now this door had a bunch of shelves on it and it was probably overloaded. And so when he yanked that door open, hinges right off. And there was a big old jar of something. It's like a gallon jar of what was called, the name of it was, oh boy, syrup. It was brand new. It was the first time we ever bought it, the last time we ever bought it, because that shit shattered so fast. And I turned around and I left him right fucking there, because I didn't make the mess. I ain't cleaning the mess. We had a dog. We did not yet have a kid. And so I had the dog with me so he wouldn't walk through all that with the glass and whatever. And I went to the room and I closed the door. And what did he do? I did not lock the door. I wasn't mad. I wasn't slamming things. I literally walked away and I was just like, that's very much, well, you did that. You did that. That's your mess. You did it to your damn self. And so I'm sitting there reading a book. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I'm reading a book. The dog's at my feet. And the door goes boom, like full on again, in and off the hinges. And I'm sitting there, I look up at him, I was like, it wasn't locked. He's like, I thought you'd lock me out. I didn't want to deal with it. I didn't want to, well, now you got to fix that too. He's like, it's been a day. I was like, you think? And I wasn't mad, but he felt some kind of way about something. I don't even remember what it was, but everything he touched broke. I was like, you are an ogre, be gentle, and this isn't a story of any kind of fear. Literally, I didn't even jolt up. He just boomed through the door, and I just slowly looked up from my book. That was unlocked, right? And that did not sit well with him. But I thought it was absolutely hysterical. And he was a lot more gentle from then on, because I don't think that he realized he can just rip things off the hinges. He never tried to rip things off the hinges, and not for nothing. So I'm going to say something that has nothing to do with anything. Big, strong guys, even little strong guys, they will either make us feel safe or scare the shit out of us. There is no middle ground, because once we are scared of them, there is no safety in the kindness. And having said that, I just want to be clear with a story like this. Never in a million years have I been afraid of him. Never, not once, ever. And just because I don't want to be all like, well, he's ripping all the things off the hinges and now people are worried for my life. No. Because listen, my mama told me this. Here is an iron skillet. He ever lays his hand on you, pack a bag real quiet, put it in the car, get yourself ready. Don't forget to have your keys in your pocket. When they are asleep, take that iron skillet, beat the fuck out of them, and run over here and call the police. So I'm like, my mom said, I can beat you to death with a skillet. He's like, I thought your mom liked me. I was like, she does.
Mama said knock you out.
Seriously though. So I kind of like this because I've never kept tabs in a relationship when it comes to fights, because I just never saw the point of I win, you win, I win, you win, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to gain leverage. You're going to gain that. That takes too much effort. I have said it before. I am a lazy bitch. So this verse here, you talk of winning as if it were a game, and then it's all watching as I drown. And that's the thing. When people get on their high horse and we're sitting there and they're digging and digging and digging at you, making fun of all the things you do or telling you how they don't matter anyway, making you feel like nothing's, watching how it twists your face in emotion and like, ha, 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 because now they've got the leverage. They are a shitheel. That is unkind. That is not what love looks like, because no part of love is hate. And you do not want to crush the people you love. You don't destroy what you love. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Grey's Anatomy, but if you do, if you know, you don't destroy what you love. You care for it. You cherish it. You treasure it. You keep it safe, warm. Yeah, it's all of that. It's none of this. And so you when you read this, you read it with kindness. I read this with very much. Oh, really? All right then. How you like me now? And it would be well deserved, as painful as this sounds. So, Sweet Pea, your thoughts?
I read it the same way you did. He read it very gentlemanly like and with a soft tone, but I definitely see it with a big middle finger, like you said you want to be left alone, betrayed by all you've been shown. So I don't know what I did wrong. I don't really care, because basically people are going to see what they want to see. I'm just an illusion, merely a wannabe. There's so much in that line, it's just really, something that maybe, if someone makes you feel invisible, somebody makes you feel less than or anything, all I've done, a lie or a joke, did you ever listen to anything I had to say? Did you think I was just a big joker or a liar or, and when you go into talking about winning as if it were a game, I think there are a lot of people that in relationships that will want to either one-up each other, or I did this, you should do that, I should do this, So if you say you want to be alone, here, I'm going. I've got my ticket to ride right on out of here. So I really kind of get all of that. And I like I said, I really love I'm just an illusion, merely a wannabe. That's just a great, great line.
Absolutely, because I'm not over here posting other stuff, not paying any attention that I'm on mute. It's fine. And But at least I have you are on the board, my sweet. So I was doing good things.
You're always doing good things.
So whenever you're ready.
Okay. This is If Dogs Could Talk. If dogs could talk, I'd find myself in a bind, taking that Green Mile walk for the murders I proclaimed as mine. Listener of everything I've done, every teardrop has a story. He knows every one. The times I've betrayed you with malice in my heart, all the evil things I've done, I told him from the start. He knows why I was so foolish when I ran away, keeps me company when I went astray. I've lost my compass more than once, I fear. A gentle snuggle when the consequences are near. Every path chosen is a choice condemned, hoping for forgiveness when I offend a friend. Teardrops on fur make the perfect pillow, even when my courage comes in shades of yellow. I'm the creator of my mistakes. Words of anger never fade, wallowing in the darkness of my internal hate, losing friends and family as they decide my fate. If dogs could talk, I'd find myself in a bind, taking that Green Mile walk for the murders I proclaimed as mine. End poem.
You say murders, and my mind goes to a murder of crows, which leads me to the raven. I'm like, ooh, all the words. I don't think that's what you meant, but that's where my mind went. And but there is something to be said. I think that those who do not have pets, or who have never had a pet that they were close to, because they're not all dog owners and cat owners are the same. Some are just like, this is a menace, and whatever, and some are family. So here's the thing. Every dog I have had since since we moved up here. So since my child on the spectrum has been around, has had a job to do that they took upon themselves. Whenever he would, rant on, whenever he was elevated, they would, and to this day, like they just go up to him and just basically force the love so that it takes them out of their whatever, and then they're like, okay, I'm gonna love you, and calms them right down, to the point where my current dog, extra roly, extra saggy skin bulldog, that everybody in my house will stop what they're doing in the middle of the day if they're having a minute, find her, wake her little chubby ass up when she's asleep, just so they can num 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 all the rolls like a stress ball, and then go back because now they're calm. Magic these dogs are. And so when you're here, it's like, well, he knows why I was so foolish, and down here where you are, where is it? Where is the tears? I saw tears. I know there's tears somewhere in the fur. I will never find it, but it's there. And here, every teardrop has the listener of everything I've done. Every teardrop has a story, and he knows everyone. And sometimes people suck. Dogs never do. The worst dog is still a good dog, especially if they sit with you when you're going through it, especially when they seem to always take your side, even when you don't take it yourself. Even, and they don't judge you. You've got the treats and you've got the lovings. All right, we're cool, and people just aren't like that. They forgive everything. And people are like, well, they're dogs. They don't know. Oh, they know. I have full-on conversations with especially my last two. The bulldogs are, they are not known to be the smartest dogs, but they are very sentient, and they understand a lot. It's not that they're not smart; they're just stubborn. And she will tell me exactly what she wants. She will sit there and all of the things. So when we have when you talk to them about all the things, if I'm having a conversation with her, I'm like, listen, I'm having a day. She will take that gentle little paw and like just put it on my hand, like it's okay. And I'm just like, oh, thank you. And maybe we curate those responses, maybe we do. But the thing is, when they come and find anybody in my house that's stressed and sit there until they're not stressed, they do that on their own, you know? Nobody tells them to do that. Nobody can force them over to a place they don't want to be. And so I love this. And I'm sure that I'm missing the gist of all the things. But I have a soft spot for the doggos. If dogs could talk, I find myself in a body. So here's the thing. Bladed tongues can be very murderous. You can decimate people with like 2 words. If you know them well enough, it doesn't take much. And we've all done things or said things in anger or whatnot that we are not proud of. And, our fur babies love us anyway, and it makes us, well, it makes me, I'm sure it makes you too, but I don't want to speak for the entire world, but it makes us feel very undeserving of something so pure, of something so unearned. Because when we judge ourselves by those moments where we tear somebody to shreds, or those moments where we're not our best selves, or those moments where we're like, I'm not in the mood for your shit, stop your fucking crying, I got shit to do, and literally you'd rather be taking a shit than listening to their shit, sometimes you feel like crap about it. They don't care. Our fur babies are like, you got that out? Are you good? I'm good. Are you good? All right, love me. And when they go full on, okay, so listen. Everybody, like normal dogs, like belly rubs. I have a bulldog. It's my second bulldog. Neither one of them would willingly go tits up because, they'll go side and then here's some titties. You're going to have to work to get all the titties. And this one, like just a few days ago, has gone full tits up. And she's very wide. She's a very wide girl. And she tries to roll
lay
over
on her
like,
side.
yeah, she can't get back on her feet without looking like a turtle. It's the funniest, saddest thing I've ever seen. And but it doesn't take much. They will love us for all the things. And because that makes me smile, she is now giving me all the titties, all her lopsided 11 titties. And because they don't care what you've done. All they know is that when you're in pain, you need the love. And they're not going to judge you for anything. They don't even judge you if you're mean to them. Did you get that out? You feel better? All right, love me. And maybe it's selfish, but I think that that's their entire freaking purpose. They fill a void that too many of us can't find in people, And so I love this, and I get that there's angst and death and whatnot, but I find it to be freaking beautiful. What can I say? It's dogs. So Raconteur, your thoughts?
Yeah, there's a lot of brilliance in this. I put this on my signature sweet list. The idea of treating someone like a dog or no better than a dog. I mean, all the things about it, that the unconditional love that she mentioned that a dog offers, all the things that are wrapped up in this, all the ideas of what a dog truly is. And I mean, I'm not very religious, but spelled backwards is God, and the idea of that is like, I kind of see the beauty in that. I kind of see, what you're describing about that you can give the dog, because he's your friend and he's not going to judge you, and at the same time he's going to comfort you, and because that's all you really want. And yeah, there's so much in this that I can't even begin to cover it. It's just there's a lot of brilliance in this. I really love this suite.
Thank you, Rock, very much.
So it is time for announcements. Are you ready, sweet?
I think so. I should be ready because, Thursday, we're going to do Everybody Talk Shit. I mean, from harmless chatter to reputations to shattering rumors, we all have something to say. From expert device to sarcastic wit, how do our words hit with families and friends? How do our own words land to others? Grab some sweet tea. Let's head out to the porch swing and chat because everybody talks shit.
And then on Tuesday, it's if it makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad? So too often we find that when we get what we thought we wanted, it isn't as joyful or fulfilling as we thought it would be. It's not that there's no joy in it. It's just less than. Maybe we search for unrealistic changes. Maybe we're more excited about the idea of it. Maybe, the possibilities of it run high and the reality falls short. Sometimes we think if we have this or we do that we'd be happy or happier. Other times we get exactly what we want and we're still miserable. So if it makes you happy, why are you so sad?
And then after that beautiful group, we're going to go into Made with Love, family heirlooms. Many of us have treasured items inherited from or made by people we love. Grandma's quilt, the sweater mom made, the trinket box your uncle made you, the ornaments you made for your aunt, a custom scarf from a cherished friend. Is it the item, the memories, or the love that turns into a treasure? What is it about items made with love that elevate them in your heart?
And then next Friday on the 14th of August, it is a pretty sweet story time. And we're going to do something that we've never done. We're going to do a part 2. It is earworms. So, oh, darling, do we have a fun show for you. When you hear a note and it reminds you of a song, especially if those songs come with a story and we're singing ditties and sharing time. When that song gets stuck in your head mid-conversation, you just can't shake it off and pass it off to someone else. Yes, it is the bothersome earworm, and it is contagious. As usual, our storytime shows are open to everyone, so please do join us. And that is what is coming up through next week. So you can find us wherever you listen to your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the places. You can listen to our archives for everything we've ever posted at prettysweet.podbean.com. And you can listen to us live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, YouTube, and X. And to find us on any of these places, type in Pretty Sweet, P-R-T-T-Y, Sweet, all one word. Click on the red shoes and you will find hundreds of hours of us, distracting you from things you could be doing, I suppose. So like, follow, share, leave your opinion on our opinions, click all the hearts, and show us some love. So, that is what is coming up. So, I guess I have to put something on the board, don't I?
Well, if you want to.
I mean, I guess it's kind of what we're here for.
Yeah.
All right. So, back in the rotation, 'tis moi.
I do have to say, I never thought I'd write a poem where you actually say you have to work for all the titties, so I'm very impressed.
And see, now my mind here is I must improve my bust.
It's increased. I am just saying, and we have all done that also. Thank you, Porkies. Okay, this is For You, I'd Bleed Myself Dry by me, Pretty Bird. And it goes like this, because apparently everything is song lyrics today. This is seriously. Hence the earworms coming up, because it's been the bane of my existence here recently. So this is For You, I'd Bleed Myself Dry.
Worms bring out the birds.
And again, this is for you. For You, I'd Bleed Myself Dry by Pretty Bird. And it goes like this. I scratched my skin and bled my paper bones. Post-it note rejections, forgotten time crumpled in corners, missing their target. It still hits home. Fluctuating idioms and silent conversations, I can still hear the screaming that never graced your lips. Bile bubbles and acid reflux memories, never breathing air, gasping in limbo, refusing to die. How to murder pieces of love without deconstructing truth. Walking naked through the burning bush, bare branches meet bare skin, dragging time in dirty fingernails. I scratched my skin and bled my paper bones. End poem. That was not a fart, by the way. That was my little squishy thing. My bad. So,
Just thought it was your dog.
yeah, no, that's on me. It just wasn't gas.
Oh, that's funny. I love I scratched my skin and bled my paper bones, because I think that's how fragile some of us can be. Is, our bones sometimes feel like they're made of paper. And I kind of like that image that I produce in my brain. Don't know if that's the image you want, but that's kind of what I kind of thought. And you just kind of go through here with, post-it note rejections, and things are crumbled in the corners. So you may think you didn't hit it, but you still hit the target. I can hear the screaming that never graced your lips. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how many times you can just look at a person, watch their body language, watch how they look, or watch how they act around you, or they feel around you, that they're so angry, but or they're just in pain or whatever it is, but they just aren't willing to open up and tell you. And bile bubbles and acid reflux memories. Wow. Acid reflux memories is just probably the most painful thing I could possibly think of, because acid reflux really just sucks. So when you go to bile bubbles and acid reflux memories, I'm just like, wow, that's just got to be a lot of pain. And it's just something that again, with your metaphors and your imagery, that you really bring home with some great hard-hitting words. Your verbiage is always so on point. But I really like How to Murder Pieces of Love Without Deconstructing Truth. We sure can murder love, even if we just walk by or don't say something at the right time, or we're not honest with how we feel, or because a lot of people don't think omission is a lie, but but if you never tell me, or you never tell me, and you never tell me, and I don't know, and
you can't blame me for it.
Yeah, exactly. And walking naked through the burning bush, bare branches meet the skin, dragging time in dirty fingernails. Again, it's like I've been through hell and back, and what do you care? Here I am, all bare and torn up, and just at my rawest, and that's all there is. So, Rack, your thoughts?
This is another one that's hard to talk about. The paper bones is brilliant. Again, the idea, this the and even down to the acid reflux that you were talking about earlier. So now I can't help but think of that pain that you're going through. It's like, uh, you know a lot what I tend to see in the things that you write has to do with the moments that you're vulnerable, the moments that you're in pain, and the way people react to it, and how it's almost a common theme, that they want to ignore you, they want to, dismiss you, or they don't see you at all, so um, it's not the same thing over and over again, because you say it different time, but at the same time, it's like reminds me of just day to day. It all feels the same. And where am I going? Why am I on the hamster wheel? What can I do? To get out from under this. It really hits home, and that's one of the reasons why I love reading you, is because um, whatever people tend to see in it, it's not even that they don't get it. It's more that they're gonna read it how it relates to their lives, and and totally understand that this is from a moment in your life that you put on the page, to get it off of your chest and stop carrying. And it has absolutely nothing to do with them, but the nature of people reading things, in their own perspective, is almost unavoidable and unfortunate. And it kind of makes me giggle a little bit sometimes. But yeah, yeah, as sad as it can be, I could still see the unfortunateness. uh,
Much appreciated. And you are up. Sweet. Are you ready to read? You're muted. Still muted.
There I am now. Now it's working. Oh, that doesn't help. Okay, I'm up, but Rack's poem is there. So
Yes, because you're reading him.
Oh, well, see, that makes sense. Thank you. I was kind of confused. Okay. This is Wasted Effort by Raconteur. I used to live my life walking with my feet off the ground. I had it made, reaching for the sky till my head was in the clouds. It was a long way to fall. What made me think I could make a difference? How could I possibly change the world when reality has no use for this? Still, I find myself running away, suffering the effects of rose-colored glasses on unseen eyes. End poem.
Still, I find myself trying anyway. That is full on doing it to your damn self. Suffering the effects of rose-colored glasses on unseeing eyes. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to see the best in people. There really isn't. And there's something kind of beautiful and almost innocent, but not really innocent. I guess I mean hopeful, about wanting to look for the best in people after they show you their worst. Because sometimes I find seeing people's worst. Okay, I'm gonna have this is gonna have qualifiers. I find if people show me the worst of who they are, things that they're ashamed of or afraid to let people know, I find that that feels like a gift to me. That they trust me, that they're letting me in. That's different than if you're going to show me your ass and verbally berate me, or think you're going to raise a hand to me or do something to sabotage me. Then no, that's different, But what made me think I could make a difference? I don't know. I think it's that hubris she might have mentioned. No, it's just we all like to think that we matter to the people that matter to us, because in a perfect world we should. And again, with that stupid freaking word, but in a perfect world, there's some level of reciprocity, even if it's not equal. There's some level. If you care about somebody and they claim to care about you, then there is kind of a common minimum standard of give a shit, but there really isn't. People are like, well, I never said that. Just because I care doesn't mean that I care about you more than me. Just because I care doesn't mean that it matters. Just because I care doesn't mean, well, then you don't fucking care, because you can't say you care, then act like, everybody's invisible and you don't notice anything and you don't give a crap. If how you make them feel by what you do is entirely inconsequential, that is not caring. That's just wanting them there because you like to be cared for, not because you care for them. And that is selfish and shitty. I am just saying. So there's something lovely about the idea of wanting to see the best in people, and something very heartbreaking in knowing that it doesn't matter anyway. And I think this is a lovely brevity, and it depicts that beautifully. It really does. So, Sweet Pea, your thoughts?
I absolutely believe it's a lovely brevity. You know, it's really about kind of trying to believe in yourself and be positive again. I think that, we kind of go through that and we look through that and reaching for the sky till my head was in the clouds. It was a long way to fall. Isn't that the truth? When we look through things through rose-colored glasses because we believe everybody's a good person and they turn out not to be. I tend to believe that myself, and I tend to get hurt a little more than I should. But I resonate with this because still finding myself trying anyway, suffering the effects, of the rose-colored glasses. But you would think that at some point I would have already found myself. I should be old enough to find myself. But I just think that we recreate ourselves and get better or more educated. And sometimes we're our heads are high in the clouds, and then somebody will just take our feet and wipe it out from underneath us. But I really, really did enjoy this ride.
It's really an epiphany. People show me their ass because they know that's what I want to see.
I'm not going there, Mr. Pun Master, because that has a whole lot of stuff.
Oh, now you're talking about the whole. Okay, then.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. I definitely
Am,
cannot.
am I cracking you up?
You are cracking me up.
OMG.
You are making me laugh. Get in my crap. No, I wasn't.
OMG.
Oh,
You are up, Sweet, whenever you're ready.
okay. Let me dance away from Rack's poem and into my own.
I'm surprised you didn't say from Rack's Crack.
This is Pain is the Emancipation of Self-Discovery by Sweet Pea. The moon yawned as tangerine shades of sunrise began to pinprick the morning light into the fabric of the darkness. My brown eyes began to fade and my body fell into the soil of the earth. Corpulent shoulders strain as they uphold the unknown shame from universes not yet bruised by the whispers of my butterfly wings, forming the witchery of their approaching misfortunes. I condemn the insolvable, its braggadocious monologue of perfection. In mystery, its nauseating and weakness, the performance of my reflections. Deflating myself of coyness and shyness, no excuses to be annoyed. Formed in the fluidity of concrete pain, was poured into my foundation. Veins hardened as revenge was cruel, and I found no pardon for daydreams or murderous convictions outside a blind woman's judgmental scales. Betrayed by the ads of medications and the doc's gray matter technologies, I tied my tongue to my hands and spoke to the mannequins in alpha omega languages until I discovered myself. This is where I stand, waiting for my convictions to waver, to soften the hardness of my reprimand. A life sentence served in my anger, only to understand pain is the emancipation to self-discovery. End poem.
Change is painful. And I don't care if it's good change. I don't care if it's unfortunate change. Change, by definition, is going to lead to, fear of the unknown and the pain of letting go and all of that. So even at its happiest, change is painful. At this part here, formed in the fluidity of concrete, pain was poured into my foundation. And that speaks to me of childhood, of when we absorb all the things, when we learn who we are, and I think every parent, in guiding children, we all do it without the realization that children see things differently. I mean, me included, I am a highly imperfect person. I just don't want people to think that I'm like talking down to anybody. I promise you, I am not. When we tell kids, no, don't do that because this isn't a time to be silly, or this isn't a time to be whatever, or you know better, or that was dumb, or whatever it is that some parents say to their kids don't ever believe parents lie. They believe that everything that comes out of their mouth is true. They don't know sarcasm. They don't know um gradients of annoyance. They think that I don't care means that I don't care about you at all ever. Not, well, stop making stupid choices. Now I am stupid because what I do is stupid. And they don't often ask, you know, if it's important to you, if they're in the middle of wrangling all their kids, making dinner, trying to tidy up the house before the husband gets home, whatever the situation may be, and then they don't ever think about it again because they say it in passing and they don't mean it um literally. But kids only understand literal. They don't understand anything else until they're a little bit older. And so that line there was like, okay, so this started young in my brain. I went right to the foundation of who I am, you know and all the ways that I'm broken and the doctors say they can fix. Oh, you're a little depressed, here, take this pill. Oh, you're having these thoughts, here, take that pill. Oh, you can be fixed because there's something wrong with you. Emotions are not mistakes. Emotions are not weakness. Emotions don't mean you're broken. you know It's nauseating and weakens the performance of my reflections, deflating myself of coyness, shyness, and as excuses to be annoyed. And that's the thing. When people take an innocent emotion and weaponize it, how are you supposed to be who you are through that? How are you supposed to explain yourself the way you normally explain yourself through other people's ideals and disappointment when everything you do feels wrong? And how much pain does it take to be shrunk down to the point where there's no place else to go except to say fuck you and break free of that in ways that cannot ever be fixed the way they were. And it's not that they can't be fixed. Okay, so I don't know how, because sideways, incoming. I don't know how your relationship, this is to everybody, with your parents were. But with my mom, I was 18 and then really at 21, where we had like a knockdown, drag out, verbally unfortunate reckoning of 2 hours of tears and this is why I thought you hated me and this is why you were a pain in my ass. And after that, after a few days of just don't fucking talk to me, I was then crowned an adult child, because your mom, you're always a child to your mom, but an adult. She treated me different. She respected me more. It was not easy. I thought she hated my guts and she was never going to speak to me again. And at that point, I was okay with that because it was, yeah, fuck me, fuck you. And me and her have never spoken to each other that way. Like that's not how it was done in my house. And some of it was yelling and some of it wasn't. I was like, yeah, well, I'm exactly who you made me and yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And what kind of example do you think you were? And yada, 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 and you think you were an easy child? That kind of conversation. It was ugly. And nobody left their rooms because we're in the middle of the living room. People either left the house or they stayed in their room. Then lest they get, ricochet,
Mm.
and absolutely changed the foundation of our relationship. It would never again be what it was, and that's not a bad thing. It elevated it. There's a lot more respect for adult choices, and with that, there was no expectation of running anything by her. I hadn't even lived in her house for a bit, and she said, "Well, why didn't you tell me? How is that your business? I'm your mother." And you know, because it's hard to let go of that role, because I don't know about you, but it's hard for my mamas to let go of their babies. It's hard for me to let go of my babies. Do I? Yes. But
yeah.
that does mean I don't cry myself to sleep about it. Sometimes it's fine. So I'm hoping that I don't ever have to have a fight like this, but I'm thinking it's because it was my mother and I'm a girl. Because I didn't have a fight like this with my father. I had a conversation with my father where he said some awful things, and I said, "Yeah, tell me how you were stellar then," and he said nothing else to me, and now we're fabulous. So there's a lot of pain, a lot of being small, a lot of being talked down to, a lot of trying to learn who you are outside of the roles people place on you or place you in, and that has to break completely before you can level up and be like, "Listen, this isn't going to happen anymore. This is not who I am. I get that this is who you wanted me to be, but it's not. So this is who I am, and this is what I need. If we can't find a way to exist in this realm, then we can't exist together." And it is not an easy place to be. And sometimes it takes a hot minute to work back to. Like I said, me and my mom didn't talk for like 5 days at all. And then she had my sister call me and be like, "Hey, she's making whatever for dinner. Are you coming?" Okay. You know,
Guess so.
like I did not put my purse down, I was like ready to run out of there, but it was fine. And so there's a lot of not really talking to each other, but being civil. And then all the next real conversation we had was different, and it continued to be different. It was much better. And then I got all the dirty jokes and all the inappropriateness, all the adulting that I didn't know that she had in her, by the way, because I didn't know she had held anything back. Oh, she held things back. And so, and the apple does not fall far because no filter, it's fine. But I love this as the lead up to a change. Like, this is the burning down of the bird where the phoenix will rise. And I kind of love that. And it's not easy. And this doesn't even for a little bit pretend that it's going to be easy. So awesomeness. So Raconteur, your thoughts?
You got my head spinning with your comment on her words. So starting with the stupid quip about change. Yeah, change just makes my pants fall down. Anyways, the argument that you had with your mom, though, I had a similar argument with my mother, and my love of words started early on, and she could never really argue. I don't remember how old I am, but it's a miracle that I'm walking after the things that I said, because I was totally disrespectful. I mean, things like she called me a little bastard, and I'd be like, well, it's none of my business what she did before I was born. She said, "I'm your mother. Don't you talk to me like that." I said, "Mother's only half a word." And she called me a son of a bitch, and I'm like, "What does that make
Yes,
you?"
I am.
There's no reason I should be walking right now. No
That's
reason
because
I
she
should be.
doesn't have a chancla.
I don't know what that is, but
Oh, that's a Spanish the mama slipper that ricochets off your head.
Yeah, I didn't know what that was.
oh my
either.
God, the shoe. Yes, yeah, the shoe. Yeah. But
So
anyways, so go ahead.
no, go ahead.
You started to say so. I
Yeah,
was going to
because
turn the conversation.
I was gonna say, so that conversation that I had with mom actually started with an argument about shampoo, and she said, "You can go to hell. You can go to hell." First time she ever cursed to me, I said, "Well, I'll meet you there." Lost her shit fucking completely,
Yeah.
and my father was like, "Well, you said it first to my mother," and then he ran to hide.
Exactly. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and it's the first time in my entire life my father stuck up for me. Like, what do you expect? So that is actually hysterical, because isn't that a "you did it to your damn self" moment? I mean, you started it.
Yeah.
And so you're saying all these things. I'm like, oh yes, I know.
Oh,
So fun.
but yeah.
Oh yeah, no, my mom would have. My mom.
I know.
Yeah, she lost her mind. That woman, absolutely flipping.
I'm also bigger and faster, but that
I don't
reminds me of
give a
the
shit. I've got a
Skillet so
6'7" son. I am not 6'7". I ain't scared of him.
come down here so I can hit you in the mouth. I
All of
know.
my kids, my shortest child is 6 feet tall, and he's still growing. And so, yeah, no, they don't scare me. Because sit your ass down so I can yell in your face. I have made him sit down so I can yell at him, and then he laughs at me because I make him sit down so I can yell at him. I was like, it's not funny. He's like, kinda, I'm sorry. But
So
yeah.
What was the the title again? The emancipation.
Pain.
Pain is the
I mean,
emancipation to self-discovery.
yeah. Again, and our tight little group. That hearing you write this, I don't know when you wrote it, but again, in terms of myself and my own narrow view, it makes me think that you were influenced a little bit by Pretty Bird, because you've commented on how her relationship with pain and love is frequently, and I see it in a lot of which as well. So that's where my mind went as well. And the unfortunateness of our experiences that's when we think of love, what we think of to me is just depressing. And I it's funny because being disabled and things like that, the people that I interact with, sometimes I get nurses and everyone walking in and out, and all the things that go on, that they want to evaluate your depression. It's like, of course I'm fucking depressed. What, are you kidding me? But it's like, just your coming here reminds me that I'm depressed. I mean, what am I supposed to be happy? The idea, anyways. It almost seems like a foregone conclusion, or a natural progression of things sometimes, and that's not a life that anyone can really live. But you still have the hope, the idea of the emancipation of it. It's like, I'm going to grow from this. So what was it, Nietzsche? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, they say.
I don't. Yeah, I don't entirely believe that, but the idea of it, I think you captured that in this, quite well, because you found something positive in the negative, and all the other platitudes and little stickers and buttons that people want to make. They should read this. This is had a lot of there's a lot of wisdom in your words.
Thank you.
And I've got to pull them up on the board, then we'll do announcements. This is Shame on Us Both by me, Pretty Bird. It goes like this. Skin too thin to hold water, pits iron oxide where brilliance shone. But that was before. Ashen tongues land where wind no longer chimes, punctuating time, turning ellipses into a full stop with never again. Maybe you're a martyr and I'm a beast for trying to explain my pain, hoping it carried weight. I pretended I could be enough. Turns out I'm too much of all that's wrong, always left. I just can't be right. I believed you once and once again, but that was before. and poem.
Yeah, wow. I like the title Shame on Both of Us. Maybe you're a martyr and I'm beast for trying to explain my pain, hoping it carried weight. Nobody's a martyr. To maybe Joan of Arc, but it's just
Gandhi.
Gandhi. Okay, there are a few martyrs, but when you're talking and someone wants to take all your pain and say, I'll take it on, or I'm this, and they try to, I guess they want to take care of it, or they want to be the ones to get it, and be the ones that will just fix it and doing all of that. And then they become, like you said, your martyr. And it's like, no, I don't need that. It's not what I want. Just listen. I pretended I could be enough. Turns out I'm too much of all that's wrong, always left. I just can't be right. And that says a lot, because when you're constantly berated that you can't hold the pencil right, or you can't hold the fork right, or you can't do this right, eventually you're going to believe the person's an ass. It may take a while, and then as you end it, I believed you once and once again, but that was before. There's always that before, and now I'm going to go live my after. So, and we all don't believe in happily ever afters, but that's why I really enjoyed this. So, Rack, your thoughts?
Say the title again.
Shame on us both. Or shame on both of us. No, shame on us both.
Yeah, I again, see, again, it speaks to me of your strength and personality when you say something like that, because to me, the idea of this is, you did it to yourself. I hear that in this, and the idea of taking responsibility for what you do and not being ashamed of who you are comes through more than anything in this. And the undercurrent of this that I appreciate more than anything is, if you cared about me, you would care about how I feel and my feelings. So if it matters to me, it should matter to you. And I just I get lost sometimes, especially, that I can't kind of keep track and pick it apart better, by looking at it piece by piece. But again, the raw emotion in it is stark to me, and that's, I think, the appeal of a lot of what you write. It's not, prettied up and as much as you use the right words and everything else, and send people to the dictionary a lot. You always land on something that's really impactful, and again, the emotion behind it just comes through. So definitely appreciate it.
I think the beauty in what we do and what all poets do and writers in general is that there are no new emotions, not a single freaking one. With the billions of freaking people on the planet through, however long people have been on the planet, everybody has been feeling the same shit over and over and over through generations. And I mean, there's sad songs, there's happy songs, there's sad poems, there's happy poems. There's a lot of pretty
Sad
poems.
songs, they say.
The problem is that there isn't a lot of purity in artful words, and not. I don't necessarily do pretty, not that I do ugly, but because no, but I think that we're all different in how we write, because we process differently, because it's not that we feel differently. You know what I mean? So I don't know if y'all can tell, but I'm a no frills kind of gal. That's not to say that I don't like to glam it up every once in a while, but generally speaking, what you see is what you get. If you don't like it, don't look at it, you know. And I'm like that with all my things. It's, you know, sometimes they're prettier than others, and some of us write more gently, and some of us, you know, are, you know, just whatever. We're all different, and I find that to be beautiful. I mean, like is those differences that we come up with on these shows for the same topic, that we pull things out of our ass, either stuff that we wrote years ago or stuff that we write new. And I have never, in the entire time that we've been doing this, in the like 1,000 hours or whatever. I mean, is it really? No, it's hundreds of hours, but that we've been doing this. Um, I don't think that we've ever had poems in one show on the same topic that ever bored me. They've all been different. It makes, you know, I could just name it, you know, pain or love or whatever, and we would get 1,000 different poems that are 1,000 different facets and all true. And I love that. I just find that to be just wonderful, that there are endless ways to depict the human condition, and, you know, just
Absolutely.
all the things. So with that,
On that note,
yeah, we're coming to the end of the show. So what is coming up on Thursday?
On Thursday, everybody talk shit. Absolutely everyone. From harmless chatter to reputation, shattering rumors. We all have something to say, from expert advice to sarcastic wit. How do our words hit with our families and friends? How do our words land to others? Grab some sweet tea. Let's head out to the porch swing and chat, because everybody talks shit.
You know, I know you said sweet tea, but I keep on hearing sweet pea. I can't help it.
Melbourne.
So
Sweet tea.
I'm going to quickly just
Spill the tea.
go over the titles for next week. So on Tuesday, it is If It Makes You Happy, Why the Hell Are You So Sad? On Thursday, it is Made with Love, Family Heirlooms. And on Friday, it's a pretty sweet story time. I love our story times. It is Earworms Part 2. So it is all the things. Just come tell us about music in your life, and we're just going to go off the rails with tidbits of music. If you thought tonight was bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. And so that is coming up. So you can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. Type in Pretty Sweet, PRTTY, sweet, all one word. Click on the red shoes, and follow us to hundreds and hundreds of hours of stuff. Same instructions apply to listen to us live. You can follow us on Facebook, X, YouTube, Instagram, all the places. We are not live on Instagram, all the places. Again, Pretty Sweet, and follow the red shoes to hundreds of hours of wonderful distractions. And we now have reels and stuff. So if you don't want to listen to us for 2 hours at a time, listen to us for 3 minutes, because it's out there. So leave your opinion in our opinion, like, follow, share, click all the hearts and show us some love. And do you have anything to add, Sweet?
No, tonight was a very enjoyable show. So it was a great time.
Much appreciated. So we will see you next week, and we had a wonderful time. We hope you did too. But if you did not, you can fuck all the way off. Good night, everyone.
Good night.